Hello everybody! It's been a while since I've done a tag, so today I'm here to do the ultimate book tag. I found this tag on Erica's Tea Party's channel, so I will leave a link to her channel below as well as a link to the original creator. So let's get started. Do you get sick in the car while reading? Yes, I do get sick in the car. I get sick in the car, but not on the bus. I think it has something to do with seeing like the movement on the outside of the car going by, and on the bus, like, I feel like the windows are much darker and tinted that you don't really notice the outside as much, or you can be seated kind of in the middle where you don't notice. So I'm okay on a bus, but in a car, yeah, I can't read. I get so sick. One time when I was little, actually, I was reading Harry Potter, and I was reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and I didn't want to stop reading, and I made myself so sick that my parents actually had to like pull over and stop the car for a while I like breathed, because I just felt so sick to my stomach. Which author's style is completely unique to you and why? So I don't know if I'm completely biased by this since I just finished one of his books this morning, but I have never ever in my life come across writing so beautiful, and that is the wonderful Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Now, I finished his book of Love and Other Demons this morning, and it was just mind-blowingly fantastic. Like, I have read other books of his before and I felt the same, but this one was just, it just sweeps you away. Like, it's like just sweeps you off, and you don't know where it's going. The way he writes is so beautiful and poetic, and it just flows so gracefully. It just kind of sweeps you up and carries you into the story. You can't even notice that you're reading most of the time when you're reading these books. Like, you don't know that you're reading. You're so engaged in the story and in the writing and how it's being told. Next question, Harry Potter series or Twilight Saga? Give 3 points to defend your answer. Like, this is not a hard question. Obviously, like, do I even need to say Harry Potter, of course, like a million times, yes, a million cajillion times Harry Potter, but why would this be a question? I just don't get it. Harry Potter because, one, the storytelling is phenomenal. It's got turns that you wouldn't predict coming. The characters have development that you wouldn't predict coming. The world, the build of the world is just incredible. I've never read a book with such well-written world. The escapism in that book is huge, and I'm still waiting for my letter to Hogwarts, and I'm sure so many other people are. Like, that is how huge the world building in that story is. And 3, let's give it to Ron Weasley, because who doesn't love Ron Weasley? I love Ron Weasley. Number 4, do you carry a book bag? If you do, what's in it? So I don't carry a book bag per se, but I do carry books around with me on a daily basis. I generally always have a book with me. Either it's in my bag, or if it's too big to go into my bag, I will carry it in my arm like a baby all day long and just caress it throughout the day. Do you smell your books? Yes! I think this is a huge thing about being a book collector, is the smell of a book. Like, I've been known to pick up a book in chapters and stick my nose in it and just smell it for like a good 30 seconds. And the world disappears, everyone around me disappears, it's just me in that book. And I probably get some weird looks, but that's okay, because people who are bookish like me should know, and they know, and I know they know. And those who don't know, they don't matter. Books with or without little illustrations. So this for me depends on the book. I do like illustrations in like children's based novels. I think that they enhance the story and help to captivate younger readers. But I feel like in more serious books, illustrations kind of might take away from what the author is trying to do with his writing, because when you write, you're trying to describe something to your readers, you're trying to describe a setting, you're trying to describe a character to your readers, And by putting an illustration, I think you're taking away from your writing, because people will automatically look at the illustration for things like characters and world and setting and things like that. So personally, in more serious books, I do not like illustrations. I prefer to be left to my own imagination. What book did you love while reading but later discovered it wasn't quality writing? Now for me, this has not been a lot of books. I thought and thought and thought about this because I didn't want to be doing the same answer as what everyone else is doing, but I don't know, I just can't think of anything. I can't think of anything, because usually genuinely when I like a book and I read it and I fall in love with it at the time, I will defend that book forever. Like I don't usually later discover, maybe, you know, the writing wasn't so good, because I loved that book at one point in time, so I must still love that book. But I guess a lot of people have been answering Twilight, and for me at the time when I read Twilight many years ago, I didn't think that the quality of writing was good, so I can't really give that as an answer. I don't know. I'm sorry. Do you have any funny stories involving books from your childhood? Yes, one in particular comes to mind, and that is when I was probably about 7, maybe 8 years old, and I was reading The Adventures of Mary-Kate and Ashley. Now, let me tell you, Mary-Kate and Ashley was my thing when I was younger. Like, my name is Ashley, Ashley in the series, like, we bonded. So, everything to do with Mary-Kate and Ashley, I just absorbed it. So at the time, of course, I was reading their adventure mystery novel, and I think it was the one about the horses, and they're in like a horse tournament or something. But anyways, so when I got this book out of the library, I took it home with me, raced upstairs, and I started reading. Soon after, my mom comes storming in, telling me I need to take a bath for school tomorrow. So I did not want to take a bath. I just wanted to read my book and be left alone to it. So after some argument, we compromised that I could bring my book into the bathtub with me and read while I was in the bath. So I'm in the bath, I'm reading, an hour goes by, 2 hours go by, probably 3 hours go by, and I'm just kerplunk on the other side of the bathtub, fast asleep, like drifting off into Mary-Kate and Ashley world, and I don't know how, but my book slips into the water and it drowns. My book literally drowns. I've never seen a book be so soaked in its life. It drowned. And my mom comes in, I don't know how much longer, like later, probably soon afterwards, and wakes me up, and I find my book soaking wet in the bottom of the bathtub. And I cried for probably about 2 or 3 hours after that. It's really sad at the moment, but looking back, it's actually pretty funny to me now. What is the thinnest book on your bookshelf? So I believe the thinnest book on my bookshelf is A Study in Scarlet by Arthur Conan Doyle, and this is a Sherlock Holmes story. I read this back in first year university for an English literature class, and I loved it. Sherlock Holmes is awesome. Next question, what is the largest book on your bookshelf? The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I loved this book. This book was so good. So good. Like, this is the non-annotated version, so it is huge, but it is also beautiful. Like, it's the Everyman's Library edition. It's got the beautiful red ribbon in the middle, bookmark, and it's just gorgeous, and I love this book, and all 1,500 and what is it? 1,500 and oh no, it's 1,179 pages. I love this book and all 1,179 pages of it. Next question, do you write as well as read? Do you see yourself in the future as being an author? I do write a bit. I like writing short stories. I've taken a lot of writing classes in which I've written short stories, and poetry. I love writing poetry. As far as being an author when I'm older, it has always been one of those dreams of mine. to be an author, but particularly to be a children's book author. I just love children's books. I love children's literature, and someday I would love to write a children's novel or a children's series, particularly the picture book version. So I'm not very good at drawing, so I'd have to find an illustrator to kind of collaborate with me, but I would love to write like a children's picture book someday. When did you get into reading? I got into reading probably when I was 5, maybe 6 years old. I'm told a lot that when I was 5, I used to go to the library and take out piles of dinosaur books and read through dinosaur books. I also have, at my parents' home, I have papers where I had copied out or point phrased paragraphs of the dinosaur books and traced pictures and stuff, and was trying to write my own dinosaur encyclopedia. So I think that's what really sparked my love for reading, even though they were nonfiction books. But then I got into things like the Magic Tree House, the Mary-Kate and Ashley mystery novels, and then of course I found Harry Potter, and the rest was history. What is your favorite classic book? Now, I can give this to a lot of the Jane Austen novels, but I think my favorite classic book has to be the same as my biggest book on the shelf, which is The Count of Monte Cristo. This book, when I read it, honestly, it changed my life. I read this book for a grade 12 English class back in high school as my book report, I guess you can call it, book, and I was writing a thesis on it about how art is portrayed in this novel, and I fell in love, and I could not stop talking about this book. I used to go in at lunchtime and sit with my teacher and talk to him about this book because he loved this book as well. And it really sparked my love for classical novels. I like the sound of that. In school, was your best subject language arts and English? For me, no, it wasn't. I wasn't bad at it. You know, I did really well in English, but it wasn't my best subject. For me, that was math. And to this day, I still really enjoy math. I love the rearrangement of numbers. I love how they look on a page. I love how you can write the numbers at the top of a page and just solve it, and it gets like smaller and smaller and smaller as you go down. And I love math, but English would have been my second favorite. Like I said, I took lots of writer's craft, lots of writing classes, lots of English literature classes. I love reading, but it was always sort of the analyzing the stories that kind of took away from it for me. If you were given a book as a present that you have read before and did not like, what would you do? Now, for me, I am a really shy person, and when I get gifts from people that I don't like, I take it gratefully, and either I don't know, just put it in my closet, or I will give it away to somebody else who might want it more than me. I'm not really a person who can say, no, I don't like this, take it back, because I think that if someone is giving me a present, that they have thought about me and that I should be thankful for the thought, and it doesn't necessarily matter what they got me. So no, I wouldn't say anything. I would take it, I would smile, I would say thank you, I look forward to, you know, looking at this book and putting it on my bookshelf, and then I would move on. What lesser known series do you know of that is similar to Harry Potter and the Hunger Games? I have yet to find a series that I think is similar to Harry Potter or even comes on par with Harry Potter. The thing about Harry Potter and the Hunger Games alike is that they were just so good at what they were trying to accomplish in their story that I don't really think that anyone else can come close to it. Like, no matter what, it's not going to be Harry Potter and it's not going to be the Hunger Games, you know? Like, it's just not. So I can't really recommend anything that I think is similar. I don't know. If you like Harry Potter, read more fantasy. If you like Hunger Games, read more dystopian. I guess that's as good as I can say. What is a bad habit you always do while filming? So one of my bad habits is overuse of the words and and that kind of stuff. I also have a bad habit of playing with my hair, and I've noticed when filming that sometimes I'll do like a cut and my hair will be in one place the first cut and then it'll be in a different place the next cut, and it looks kind of silly, so I have to try to like place it where I want it to be when I start filming and then just like leave it alone. What is your favorite word? So my favorite word is twitterpated. I love that word because I love the idea of birds falling in love and just, you know, flying around each other. Twitterpated. Twitterpated. Like it's just twitterpated. It's uplifting, and that has always been my favorite word for a long, long time. Are you a nerd, dork, or dweeb? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I can't define myself as a social person who likes to go out and party and listen to loud music and stuff like that. I guess stereotypically I would be a dork or a nerd or something like that because I love to read and I love school and I love to stay home Friday nights in my pajamas with a book and tea, and I guess that is the typical nerd stereotype. So sure, yeah, I'm a nerd and I'm proud of it. Vampires or fairies? I love fairies. If I could count how many times I've been Tinkerbell for Halloween or for costume type events, yeah, I couldn't do it on one hand. I have been Tinkerbell so many times. I made the costume by hand and I put up my hair up in the bun with my bangs, and I love Tinkerbell. But I haven't read any fairy novels, so I would love to read some fairy novels. That would be awesome. I will look into that next time I'm at BMV. Shapeshifters or angels? Shapeshifters for sure. That would be so cool. Spirits or werewolves? I'm not so into the whole spirit thing, I don't think, so I'm gonna have to say werewolves. Zombies or vampires? I love vampires. I love Anne Rice novels, and I think that the premise of vampires is very cool and very dark and eerie, and just, I love it. Love triangles or forbidden love? I hate love triangles. Like, ugh, they drive me crazy because I'm the kind of person who in a novel, when I see the characters together who I want to be together, I want them to stay together. I don't want to spend the rest of the book like figuring out who they're gonna be with and who they're gonna choose. I don't like that. I like when two people are meant to be, and so they are. So I'm gonna have to say forbidden love because I love the idea of two people fighting to be with each other, fighting to love each other. That's Romeo and Juliet. And the last question of this awesome tag is full-on romance or action-packed with a few love scenes? Now for me, I'm gonna have to say that this is in the middle for me. I don't like full-on romance. Sometimes it can be a little hard to get into and really enjoy. When on the other hand, too much action, not enough love. I always seem like I want to know more about the love part of it. So I'm gonna have to say a bit of half and half. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this ultimate book tag. I definitely enjoyed filming it. I think the questions in this tag are great, and I've seen a lot of tags, but I haven't really seen any that I've loved all of the questions for like so much before. So yeah, if you would like to do this video, please do it. I'm not going to tag anyone specific just because I don't want to leave anybody out. I have a tendency to forget, so I don't want to make anyone feel upset. But if you do want to be tagged in this tag, consider yourself tagged. You can comment below and I will add you into the description box if you would like. And yeah, I will talk to you in my next video. Bye-bye. You guys haven't seen a cat for a while, and I promise cats on my channel. So here is my cat. Oh, hello, sleepy one.